Hello, and today I'm going to be bringing you my July wrap-up. Unfortunately, I didn't love any of these books. I think my highest rating this month was a 3 out of 5 stars, which is pretty disappointing because obviously, as readers, we want to love everything that we read, but it's not always possible. So, what is most disappointing to me this month is that I thought I was going to love, almost all these books, and I just didn't. And I was also in a reading slump for most of this month, so I didn't read a lot of books either. So, for not reading a lot of books, and then having books that I hated, having books that I didn't hate, but didn't like, it was just a very disappointing month. But I am going to show you those books and tell you some reasons why I didn't really vibe with them, I guess. So the first book is The Mermaid's Voice Returns in this one by Amanda Lovelace. This is a poetry collection. And I know that she is extremely popular. This is the first book that I read from her. I haven't read either of her, I think, 2 previous books. But this one had the word mermaid in it, so I was like, you know what? I want to get more into poetry. It has the word mermaid in it. I'm going to do it. I was very disappointed by this. Mainly because of the poetry. I felt that the poetry didn't deserve the money that I spent on it, if I'm being brutally honest. I felt a lot of the poetry, was just a sentence that she, broke up, in, different sections. It wasn't poetry, it was just, a sentence. And because it wasn't poetry, it didn't flow right for me, and I just didn't appreciate reading it at all. There was a couple that I liked, and now I'm really wishing that I had, flagged them, but, there was a couple of poems in here that I was like, okay, I really enjoy that one, but for the most part, I just felt like this didn't have what I wanted in it, and that is very disappointing. There are also just blocks of text in here, and I felt like a lot of what she was saying, she was mainly talking about sexual abuse and just abuse in general, and romantic abuse and everything like that. A lot of her ideas had been said multiple ways, but it was the same idea, and it wasn't said in a different enough way that it made it feel like it was a different idea, if you know what I mean. So it just felt really repetitive. It was easy to read because, it is poetry, but for the most part, I was just very disappointed, and I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars because I did like some of the poems in here. The next book is Harley in the Sky by Akima Dawn Bowman. This is a book that I got from Once Upon a Book Club subscription box. I was very excited to read this book because it takes place in a circus, and I find circus things very interesting, and I like reading about them. So I was very excited to pick this book up. This is about a girl named Harley who grew up in the circus, and she wants to be a acrobat. And her parents, I think her dad is like a musician and composer for the circus, and then I can't remember, I don't think her mom does anything for the circus if I remember correctly, but I don't remember. But they want her to go to college. They want her to go to college instead of being an aerialist. And so an opportunity comes where this guy from a rival circus comes, and she gets his card, and then she goes traveling with him, and it's not what she expected. This book was disappointing to me in several ways. I really wanted to like this book, and I think part of the reason why it kind of like dragged down to me is because I didn't really get sucked into the plot the way that I wanted to, and I can't understand why I didn't, because I liked the main character. Like, I didn't love her, but I liked her enough that I should have been sucked into the plot. And then there's a love interest who plays the violin, I'm pretty sure, and he and her, like, start practicing together at night, and I thought that was kind of cute. But I didn't really care about the romance that much. I don't know if this was just, like, a wrong time for me to be reading this book, because I was just getting out of a reading slump, and I'm still, like, semi-in, but I think I'm pretty much out of. But anyway, I don't know if this was, like, a wrong time to have read this, and that's why I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, and that's the problem. So I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars, because it was not terrible. I did enjoy it, but I didn't like it to the next level to give it anything higher than a 3. But honestly, I would highly recommend this book, because I think it was, like, a good time. I just don't think that it was the perfect book for me, but it's really hard for me also to, like, rate any contemporaries higher than 3 stars most of the time. So it makes sense why I wouldn't give it a higher rating. I'm just disappointed that it wasn't a higher rating, if that makes sense. Okay, so the next one is Strange Planet by Nathan W. Peel. I got this book at my bookstore in my college because it was like $5, I think, and it looked cute. I really wanted to read this because I read Everyone's an Alien When You Are Too, and I don't know why I thought this was going to have similar feelings, because that was just like a longer, I don't even know if you could call it a graphic novel, but I guess it's a graphic novel. And these are short little comics, so I don't know why I thought it was going to be similar. But I love that book. So I think this book kind of like got a disservice from me in my head, because I was wanting it to be like that book, and it wasn't. Because I don't think this book is trying to be profound, like when you're an alien when everyone else is too. Like, I don't think it was trying to do that. So I don't think that, like, I went in with it with the right expectations, because these are just cute little comics about aliens experiencing human things and being like, oh, that's weird, like, humans do that. And I'm like, yeah, it is weird, like, humans are weird. So if you're looking for, like, a cute little comic where, like, you know, human race is fucking weird, like, pick this up, I guess. I gave it a 3 stars because I did enjoy it, but towards the end of the book, so I read this all in one sitting also, so maybe don't do that. But I read this all outside on a hammock, and towards the end of the book, it started to get really repetitive. I would even say, like, towards the middle. Like, if you're gonna read this, like, break it into sections, honestly, because, like, reading it all in one sitting, I think, kind of also didn't do a service to this book. But I don't know. I ended up giving this a 3 out of 5 stars. Just the middle of the road book, honestly. Okay, next is Jane's in Love by Cecile Castellucci and Jim Rugg. I read this one also in one sitting in a bathtub. Okay, so I never read the first one of this series, so I think, honestly, like, I did a disservice to, like, all the books I read this month, but I never read the first one. I am never going to read the first one. I'm never going to read any more of these, because I couldn't get into it, which probably is because I didn't read the first one. But also, I don't want to anymore. This is a little graphic novel about all these girls who are street artists. Their names are all Jane. And then I think there's like a school dance aspect in here. It was cute. It was short. It was fine. People are trying to shut them down, like they don't want them to be street artists, and then they're standing up for the rights to be street artists. That's cool. I like that element. I liked the street art element a lot because I like things with street art in them. Characters, fine. Everything, fine. Didn't really care about anything. Again, didn't read the first one. So I ended up giving this a 3 to 5 stars, even though in my mind it's a 2 and a 5 stars, but I wanted to be more fair towards it and give it a 3 out of 5 stars just because, again, I didn't read the first one, so it's my fault for expecting the second one to, like, grab me. My bad. And the last book is the book I don't really want to talk about, so I'm not going to. Well, I'm not going to talk about it a lot because it's very controversial. Everybody loves this book, and I'm not prepared to talk about it in a cohesive manner. That's Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. This book. I was so disappointed by this book. This is another one-sitting book. I listened to the audiobook, which would I have liked it better if I was physically reading it? Honestly, I don't think so. Everybody knows what this book is about, so I'm just going to jump into why I didn't like it. The characters. I didn't like the characters. I didn't find the plot interesting, like, at all, and I didn't care about the characters enough to enjoy this book. I feel horrible because I know this is a well-loved book, and I, as an LGBT person, so appreciate the recommendation, like, how this was widespread on BookTube, as a gay romance, and everybody was, like, so accepting of it, and I love that. Because, like, as I said, I am a woman who likes women. So I appreciate that so much. However, I didn't like the book. So I'm kind of at, like, this situation where, like, I appreciate the way that it happened, but I didn't appreciate the actual product. I want to read more Nina LaCour. Like, I want to read her other book. I don't remember what it's called, but I want to read that book. And I want to give her a second chance. And I think part of my problem was that I was expecting more theater, and it was more like a movie kind of thing. And I didn't really care about the romance that much. And I am a huge romance person, so romance is very important to me. Like, I'm a romance author, so when the romance is not done right, it really bothers me, especially when all the book is a romance. And I'm not saying that the romance is bad or not done correctly. I'm just saying it wasn't good for me personally. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it more because it's really upsetting to me that I didn't enjoy it more. But I will say my rating, I did give it a 2 out of 5 stars. And, you know, she doesn't need any help with ratings. You know, the book has like a 4 point something. So I doubted 2 stars gonna drag it down anymore. But still, like, this one in particular really fucking upsets me. But yeah, these are the books that I read in July. Thanks for watching.